Yes. Now you are able to see, right? There's a whiteboard. Okay, so we'll start our discussion. So now, you see, if a quick recap, if you see the last class, whatever we have discussed, say, okay. So we have seen, I think, a variety of interesting problems. That is, one is a self-buckling kind of thing. Okay. So this problem is, very, very important kind of a thing. So we have seen this Green Hills, the formula and other things are there. Okay. So now the most important thing is, say, if you want to increase the height, say, of any member, to avoid self-buckling, you also have to increase its, the width itself at the bottom, like a pyramid kind of a structure we have seen. Okay. So this Green Hills formula will give you the critical height actually. Okay. So to avoid this, the self-buckling. So this we have seen in our last class. Then we have also seen this Euler's, the formulas. Okay, for self-buckling. Okay, so Euler's formula, Greenhill, both of them are same. Only thing is Euler you followed, right? He has done, like you say, distributed load actually. Okay, something like a more, of course, weight is also distributed load only. So he has done this like in a QL kind of a thing in civil engineering. So for now for a cantilever, then for simply supported, then for variety cases, we have these values. Okay, so this was given by this Euler. So now in this ways there are variety of interesting problems are there. Okay, so which so many things are there which you can also you followed, right? See. Okay, see, like for example, you see a column immersed in water kind of a thing, or immersed in some liquid. Okay, so these type of columns you see in the piles you have seen, right, near the seashore, say. Okay, so in the offshore structures, say, you will be having columns immersed in liquid kind of a thing. Now what will be the buckling load actual? So they will be subjected to hydrostatic pressure, all those things are there. Then you have variety of application. Then pre-stressed columns, say. Okay, so already pre-stressed columns are there nowadays you followed, right? Now what will be the buckling load, and you are doing pre-stressing by variety of ways, internally or outside also, they tie with the strings and then they try to do itself. So how to obtain? So many, interesting problems are there which you can solve, you see, by writing, the differential equation of motion, and then you see you solve using those, the eigenvalue problem and get the buckling loads. Okay. So now we will show now the same. Now until now whatever we have discussed, so it was all based on, you see, the equations of motion actually. Okay, that is, you see, we used to draw, this free body diagram and then identify the forces, and then we derived these equations of motion. Now let us see this alternative way of deriving. Okay, so that is from energy methods, which is slightly, easier than the previous case. Okay, so the energy methods. Yeah. So now, right, already you see people would have studied in your undergraduate itself these energy methods, like you see in structure analysis, I think in mechanics of materials also. Now to derive equations of motion, say, okay, instead of drawing free body diagram and doing all those things, you can write in terms of energy, say. Okay, so you minimize or maximize or something, you can get your equation of motion also. You can even get the deflections and other kind of a thing. Okay, so now let us see how to obtain the equations of motion. Not only equations of motion, even the solution itself actually, like directly the buckling load itself, how to obtain from this energy method. So that is what we are going to see. Okay, so now first let us see this conservation of energy. Okay, so all of you know this principle itself. So this is the principle, you see, which we use. So now, as already right, so a conservative system, say. Okay, the only thing is it has to be conservative. Okay, so a conservative a system is in equilibrium. Okay, so if the strain energy, So if the strain energy is equal, you see, to the work. Now work performed by the external loads. So this is our energy principle. Okay. So this can be used, you see, to find out, you see, the buckling loads or, you know, even the equations and other things also. Okay. So like, for example, you see, now in our case, we have a column. Okay. So simply supported case, let us take this one. Now, so now this is load P. So it is subjected to this load, and let us say its length is, L kind of a thing. So this column actually. Okay. So now, as you keep on increasing the load, say, okay. So if you keep on, you see the increasing the load. So what happens is initially the column, will support this load by, you see, the axial deformation actually. Okay. So the column, so it will have a deformation like this. So the same column, say. So it will have, if I dot by dot, okay. So you will have this small, the axial deformation will happen. So if I denote this by some, the delta A kind of a thing, as you keep on increasing the load actually in the initial stages, which means, you see, your column is still in the stable equilibrium kind of a thing. So this delta A, say, is axial, you followed, right, the shortening. Yeah. Now, if you try to find out, you see, the strain energy, say, all of, right, in the strain energy in the axial member in your undergraduate, you would have studied P square L by, you see, 2AE kind of a thing actually. So this is a strain energy, you see, due to this axial kind of a thing. Okay, axial shortening or something. Okay. So now, if you try to find out the work done, say, by the external load. Okay. So work done by the external load. So the external load here, it is P. So now, since the external work done by this, so this load is keep on increasing, so this becomes half P into delta A. And what is a delta A axial shortening? Already you know that is a PL by AE kind of a thing actually. Okay. So if you substitute, say, so automatically you have, you see, P square L by, you see, AE. So now your U, the strain energy is also P square L by 2E. 2AE, and then you see your external work is also, you see, P square L by 2AE. So which is you followed, right, the perfect actual. Okay. So now as you keep on increasing the load actual, okay. So when P approaches, you see the PCR kind of a thing. So now what happens is, so if you take this is our axial shortening. So this is our column. Okay. So now if you keep, if you slightly increase the load, say, okay. Yeah, so now that is the equilibrium kind of a thing, the neutral equilibrium kind of a thing. So if we have, so if we give a small, initial lateral displacement, say, to your column, when P is more or closely with PCR. Okay. So when P is very, very close to PCR, so the column, what happens is it will be in a neutral equilibrium state. So neutral equilibrium means, it will be straight also, it supports the load. And if we give a small lateral displacement, so the column will bend, but still it will support the load actually. Okay. So it is something like you followed, right, a junction kind of a thing. So if you give a small lateral displacement, say, so what happens is, your column you followed, right, it slightly, see, it bends. Okay, and still it supports your load itself. Now, so this is how is the column you followed, right? So it slightly bends and still it supports the load. So now once again, you see, you will have some extra, so this bending, say, so the the column, you see, it just axial shortening happens not due to this axial deformation, but then you see due to this bending kind of a thing. Okay. So this is that, you see, the neutral equilibrium. So P, so this is also P, and P is equal to, of course, you see, it has approached your PCR kind of a thing. So now we have to find out, you see, the work done actual. Okay. So P is equal to PCR, but we have given small lateral displacement. Because of that, you see, the column is slightly bent and your delta B, the deformation has happened. Okay. So this we are calling it as, you see, this bending deformation. So now this is delta B, say, okay. So to calculate this delta B, so now what happens is, so if you take this chord length, say, from here to, you see, the here, so if this is L, and if this is the length of this this whole column, say. Okay, so if you denote this as some s actually, okay, that is a shape or whatever, so your delta b, say, so this will be equal to, you see, this s minus the l kind of a thing. Okay, so s is your arc length and l is your chord length actually, capital L. Okay, so now this is your delta b. So now the work done, say, by the external load. Okay, so work done by the external load, so this becomes you see, P into delta B. So now please remember, so here previously when we wrote for this one, say, we had this half actually, because here the load was slowly increasing from P to PCR. So that's why you see, so the load deformation will be something like this actually. Okay, the half comes, but here we are, the load is not increasing actually. Okay, so the load is constant, that is a P is equal to PCR. So now when load is P is equal to PCR, we have given a small lateral displacement, so the column has bent and it's shortening, but still it is able to support the load. So since the load is constant, say, okay, so the work done by the external load will be, you see, simply, you see, P into delta B kind of a thing. Okay, so now we have to find out this delta B. So this is so delta B is, you see, S minus L kind of a thing. So now the chord length, say, so this, to find out this S, this the Pythagoras theorem and other things we will use here. So ds actual. Okay, so this is a dx square plus dy square whole to the power of half kind of a thing. So this becomes, if you write in terms of a 1 plus, is dy by dx, so d square by dy by dx whole square whole to the power of half by 2 dx actual. Okay, so the total length, yes, so this will be, you have to integrate from 0 to capital L. So 1 plus dy by dx whole square whole to the power of half dx actual. Okay, so now this expression, say, you can expand in terms of you see the binomial theorem kind of a thing, and ignore, you see, the higher order terms and binomial theorem, and then try to find out this one. So all of you know this binomial theorem itself. So if you have a plus b whole to the power of n, say, okay, so a to the power of n plus n a n to the power of minus and b, you followed, right? So n into n minus 1 by 2 factorial, you see, so a n minus 2 b2 b square plus dash dash kind of a thing. Okay, so based on this, and then we neglect these higher terms actually, because anyway in civil engineering, as already told you, the slopes will be very less, that is a dy by dx kind of a thing. So now I see, so dy by dx whole square, or the cube higher order terms, automatically they go back to 0 itself. So we can write this expression as 0 to L 1 plus half, so dy by dx is a whole square dx actual. So this is our arc length actual. Okay, so now if you try to find out s minus L, say, so this has two terms are there, so 0 to L, so 1 dx will come plus this is 0 to L half, say, okay, so dy by dx whole square dx kind of a thing. Okay, so now this s minus, and of course you have this L also. So this quantity, say, so this is a constant and this L, so they get cancelled. So finally, you see, you can write this as 0 to L half, so dy by dx whole square dx. Okay, so this is your change in the length actual. Okay, that is a delta b. So now this is your delta b kind of a thing. So now the work done, say, that is your delta w or whatever, so this becomes a p into delta b. It's like a virtual kind of a thing. So now so this becomes, you see, p by 2 0 to L dy by dx, you see, whole square dx. So this is the work done by your external load. And then of course the strain energy, say, that is a delta U. So if you want to calculate the strain energy, because now it is done by the bending kind of a thing, so you know already the bending strain energy, that is m square by 2ei, you write, you follow, right? If you use this curvature, say, you can write this expression as d square y by dx square whole square dx actual. Okay, so this is how you see the strain energy. So now you see both of them have to be same kind of a thing. Okay, so now you can use this and to find out your buckling loads actual. Okay, so this is your conservation of energy principle, how we can derive this for calculating the buckling loads. Okay, now this conservation of energy principles, it gives you a new you follow, right, variety ways of doing things to find out this buckling load. Okay, so now if you see here, so delta W say it also depends on your Y, and delta U say this also depends on Y actually. Okay, so now generally, in the straightforward cases, when we did the previously that equation of equilibrium kind of a thing say, so there what we did was, we wrote the equation of motion, and then what we did was, we solved as an eigenvalue problem actually, to find out these buckling loads. You followed. So eigenvalue problem we did. Now how did we find out this eigenvalue problem? So in the previous case, say, the first thing was we derived the eigenvalues. Okay, like sine nx, some characteristic equation we wrote, you see, pi square ei by L square kind of a thing we have written, and finally you see we got our mode shapes also. Okay, so now here there is, you can do this in a different way also. So like you see, if eigenvalues we obtain, then we go to eigenvectors. Okay, so this is how we see we try to do this one. Now you can do the reverse case also. If we can if we can estimate this eigenvector, say, or you are anyway the deformed profile itself, then you can estimate the eigenvalue also. So it is reverse actually. So sometimes you first obtain the eigenvalue, then you go for the eigenvector, or if we can estimate eigenvectors by some kind of methods actually, okay, based on boundary conditions or based on intuition, you see, based on bending or something like that, then you can go back and find the eigenvalue, and eigenvalue is nothing but your buckling load actually. Okay, so you can do both the ways. So this is the second case is a little bit easier, which is widely followed in the energy methods. Okay, so that Rayleigh-Ridge method we will see after some time, like Galerkin, many approaches are there. So here we assume the eigenvector, then you go back and find out your eigenvalue actually. Okay, in the conventional approaches, we try to write equation of motion. You substitute the boundary conditions, you write particular integral, complementary solution, everything you do. Then you apply the boundary conditions, you get a characteristic equation, then you obtain eigenvalue, then you go for the mode shapes actually. Okay, for when P is equal to PCR, so what type of mode shape comes, second mode, third mode, fourth mode, like that we used to derive. Now in energy methods, that main thing what we try to do is, we first assume the eigenvector, then you go back for the eigenvalue. So like for example in this problem say, so for simply supported column actually, okay, so to find out this buckling load, see, previously we did all those equation of equilibrium and others actual. Okay, so now we assume this eigenvector say, or the different. So now this eigenvector corresponding to the buckling load. So generally we all know that, you see, the column is going to buckle something like this actually. Okay, so now if you assume say by our eigenvector, you can take the deformation profile, or just assume actually. So I am assuming as, you see, a sine pi x by L actually. Okay, so this assumption, whatever you assume, it should satisfy your geometrical boundary conditions. Okay, so the boundary conditions have to be satisfied. That means, you see, y is equal to 0, you followed it, bending moment is 0. You have to write all those boundary conditions. So if you assume your eigenvector say, now if we calculate the energies actually, so del u, so that is ei by 2, 0 to L d square y by, you see, dx square whole square dx. Okay, so if you substitute say y in this expression, so you have, you see, a square ei, yeah, and do this integral, you see, pi to the power of 4, then you have, I think, 2L to the power of 4, 0 to L, so sine square pi x by L dx kind of a thing. So and your delta W say, that is the work done by the load external this itself. So we have, right, P by 2, 0 to L, so dy by dx whole square into dx. So substitute here also that sine pi x by L kind of a thing. So you have a square p pi square by, you see, 2 times L square. So 0 to L. So because it's a dy by dx, say you have cos square terms will come into 0 into picture. Okay, so now this integral, that is 0 to L cos square pi x by L, then 0 to L sine square pi x by L. So because of orthogonality principle of, you see, cos and sine, so these two integrals, you see, their values are equal to, see, L by 2 kind of a thing. Okay, so now, so automatically, so your del u, so this becomes, you see, a square ei pi to the power of 4 by, see, 4 L cube kind of a thing, then delta W say. So this becomes a square p pi square by, you see, 4 times, you see, L. So now based on this energy principle, say both of them have to be same. So you equate these two, say, so which automatically you get your critical buckling load as, you see, pi square EI by L square actually. Okay, so this is how we see we can obtain this critical buckling loads by these energy methods. Like, you know, so here what we have done is, because you know the energies external, the work done by the load and the energy also. So now if you can assume this eigenvector, say, you will get the exact value. Now in this problem, why we got the exact value was, you know, our we previously we have seen the eigenvector for simply supported beam is, you know, same sin pi x by L itself. So if you assume the correct the eigenvector, say, you are going to get, you see, the exact the value itself. Okay, so this is the key in this energy methods. So now generally, you know, in our the mechanics of materials and structure analysis, say, okay, and your structure analysis, generally the bending, the bending, the deflection curve actually. Okay, you would have seen the deflection curve, that y or whatever after solving. What type of functions we use in mechanics of material, like for the deflection curve? We write in terms of sine cos, or how do we write it? Now, what type of expressions, what type of deflection curves you have?
Polynomials.
Excellent. So we write in terms of polynomials kind of a thing. So now the question comes, you see, the